What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are jumping in for the Festival of the Lost 2025 weekly reset. So it's the 21st of October. This week we do get Festival. There's also been another game update, so we'll cover what we need to know there in terms of patch changes. Then as always, we'll take a look at vendors, Eververse, packed with Festival things on the most part. And of course for Festival of the Lost itself, we get boosted tiered rewards. On top of that, there's new activity content, slimy green weapons, the event track and all of the cosmetic stuff that comes alongside that. So we'll round up all of those things and a couple of updates from Bungie in the video today. As always, if you guys find this one useful, do us a massive favor and hit subscribe, especially if you are new around here, as around half my viewers haven't yet subscribed. So if you feel like doing that, it would be absolutely wonderful. But otherwise, let's get into it. And so, initially, it's worth mentioning, last week, Bungie released all of the catalysts for the Wolfsbane exotic axe, so if you're coming back to the game or you missed out on any of them on previous weeks, we can now earn the weapon and all of its upgrades in just 1 or 2 runs of the mission, so that's worth keeping in mind. There are plenty of videos detailing how to get the catalyst and stuff, so that's the first thing to be aware of. Otherwise, it is Festival of the Lost week. We've spoken about this a fair amount. There are new weapons, of course armor, the activity content, which is pretty interesting. And so we'll get into that stuff in just a moment for a quick rundown, initially at least. And as always, let us know in the comment section what you're jumping in to play this week. Next up, onto the patch changes for today. We did get another game update, but initially Bungie give an update regarding Festival of the Lost, and they say, we've got one quick update regarding rewards before the spooky event kicks off. So last week they noted that players could earn up to 2 bonus Eerie engrams per day from portal activities, but to get more treats in players' hands, we're increasing the cap. We initially thought 777 would be a good target, but we landed upon 99,999. Effectively, that means there is no cap, so that's pretty nice. On top of that, completing portal activities has a high chance to treat you to a Festival of the Lost bonus engram, spread around and earnable in other portal activities. So the best way is indeed to play Haunted Altars or Red Rumble, but there will still be chances to get festival drops from other activities in the portal, and again, no cap on the bonus area engrams from portal activities. So that's pretty good, and again, if you want to farm for festival loot, power and all that kind of stuff, this week is going to be very juicy. Otherwise, onto the rest of the patch that we got. This is update 9152. Initially, for infusion costs, they say unstable cores have been deprecated as the currency used for infusion, and they've been replaced with a flat cost of 1 enhancement core and 5,000 glimmer across all power levels. Additionally, unstable cores will no longer be granted when dismantling gear. So a week after they kind of made the choice to move away from unstable cores and the adjustment that they made last week, giving us a massive pile of them in that chest, essentially this week it becomes almost irrelevant because they've been fully deprecated already. So that's nice to see. I'm not sure about the 5,000 glimmer cost and how that translates to what we currently have in the game. I've totally forgotten, to be fair, but unstable cores are essentially done for already. So that's nice. Otherwise, for weapon perks, they fixed an issue where enhanced controlled burst wasn't gaining improved duration over the base perk. Then for abilities on Titan, for Shiver Strike melee on Prismatic, they say it now refunds 80% when not hitting a target in PvE and 40% in PvP as intended. So more of a fix on that one. Otherwise, for On Your Mark for Hunters, they've removed the cooldown on building On Your Mark stacks in PvE. They also say precision hand cannon hits now grant 2 stacks of On Your Mark, and precision hits and final blows at 10 stacks now refresh On Your Mark. So another one for Hunters. And for Void Warlocks with Vortex Grenades, they fixed the issue where Vortex Grenade was pushing some larger enemy types instead of pulling them. So there we go, that's the bulk of the patch changes for today, but I will link the patch notes article down below. And just keep in mind those boosts to drop rates for Festival of the Lost, which are certainly going to make it even more rewarding than it already was going to be. Now we just have to hope that everything works as intended, I guess. Now though that we are in the game, as we can see right here, of course the portal background has been updated for Festival of the Lost. I do like the component where they update the background. Of course, a minor bit of positive commentary associated with the portal right there. As always, there is the event home, so initially you'll see there are a bunch of rewards available here on the event track. We got tier 3 weapons listed on the event track right there. We can see that is a holofoil version of Gunburn, the SMG, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, there are some additional cosmetics. I'm actually skipping over a bunch. Wow, quite a few ranks here, 30 ranks in total ending with the Wicked Web shader, which is very, very bright indeed, as we can see right there. Otherwise, some cosmetics, like the ship right here, which is a pretty bonkers looking thing, to be fair. That's kind of cool. Otherwise, in terms of cosmetic stuff, there's also the Candy Bone Sparrow that we can see right here. Apologies for the slow previews on this one. You can check it out in-game, of course, as I fly into the tower. The Slasher Shell is also available on the track right here, which is definitely a pretty cool looking thing. So nice to get some gameplay rewards in that respect. Otherwise, there's the Play Now tab, which of course will take us to the Haunted Altars of Sorrow, or Altars, yeah, that's the one, Altars of Sorrow. So we'll have a quick look at that, why don't we? As I fumble around, Festival of the Lost, Haunted Altars. There's also Red Rumble, the PvP mode, which is basically Rumble, but with headless ones thrown into the mix. Otherwise, we've got the reward shop, where of course we can spend the event tokens. I never really get involved with this reward shop stuff, because I'm already getting drops from gameplay. Give us your experiences. There's the title, as always, as well. These event titles typically require 4 triumphs. This one requires 8, so a little bit more going on. And Haunted Mask. Wow, there's a mask tab with objectives to actually acquire some of the masks, which are gameplay rewards, and then upgrades as well, which are actually mods that do a bunch of things, like picking up a piece of candy, granting an overshield. I believe we'll be picking up candy inside of the Haunted Altars activity as well, so I'm assuming that's where it works. Otherwise, when you visit Eva, she'll have the classic carving quest initially, which is going to have kind of predictable objectives. Put the mask on, go play Haunted Altars. Nice to see as well, right here, we have focusing options. So for 750 candy, we can buy a weapon engram for Festival, and that has the chance to get the holofoil drops. Also, Submersion is in there as well as a rare drop. You'll have noticed there is exotic focusing available here as well. So if you want to focus exotics with candy this time around, instead of doing it with Ada 1, those cost 2,500 candy. And for the same cost, we can pick up exotic class items once again. There were a lot of questions as to whether we'd be able to do that like we could last year. So nice to see that that is an option there as well. And I guess for the moment, that's a quick look at the festival stuff. Of course, more will unfold as we jump into the activity and start to play and things like that. But let us know if you're excited for it. Don't forget as well to climb the tree and pick up your free candy. I can't quite spot it from down here. Not going to try and climb up in front of everyone because, well, I'll look like a fool. Presumably, there's some up there as always, unless Bungie are being extra stingy today. We should additionally pay a bit of attention to the Bright Dust store, or the Eververse store. Don't forget to grab your free Bright Dust. That's what made me think about it. There is a shader pack, which is silver only. We'll have a quick preview of some of these just to see what we're missing out on. Man, the previews are still not loading. Very rude indeed. But that's an option if you want to check it out. Will we get previews for these items? Yes, we do. So the front page for Bright Dust, we've got the Lepidoptera, a pretty cool moth or butterfly. Lepidopteri, does that refer to moths or butterflies or both? Let me know down below. Reminds me of Witch Queen stuff, but that's a pretty cool looking ship on the front page for 2,000 Bright Dust. We also have the pumpkin carving emote available this week in the store. Naturally, mostly festival items. That's 3,250 Bright Dust. And then we have the Cade 6 mask available in the store. Can't remember if this was here last year, but that's 1,200 Bright Dust. And then there is the Pumpkin Bomb Transmat effect for 450 Bright Dust, as well as Angel's Gleam. Gleam is certainly a word for it. An incredibly bright shader there for 300 Bright Dust. And there's also the Rosette Gleam available here as well on the front page. So give us your thoughts about those. Of course, Bungie advertising plenty of the armor options in the store. Yes, here are the sets available for silver. It's 1,500 silver or 6,000 Bright Dust, and they should appear here in the event tab. There we go for the Eververse sets. Of course, we're only seeing the Titans stuff. Some of these items here, just keep in mind, will actually sell for Bright Dust during this event. So if you want a preview of everything that can sell for Bright Dust, so you don't spend any silver that isn't necessary to do, then I'll link a video with that info down below. But let's move to the main Bright Dust section. We actually don't have a weapon ornament this week, but we've got the Imprecise Snack legendary emote for 700 Bright Dust right there. It's another miss. Otherwise, there is Accursed Sun. I was going to say Accurized Sin, then that's a rare emote for 400 Bright Dust. And then we have the Hexing Shell returning from last year, right there, up for 2,850 Bright Dust. Additionally, the extraterrestrial vehicle for a bit of UFO action for 2,000 Bright Dust. And then we have the Skitter Scare exotic sparrow here, which is certainly quite spooky for 2,500 Bright Dust, as well as the Good Boy mask, the Archie mask, I suppose. Pretty creepy and odd, but that makes sense. It's 1,200 Bright Dust. And then we have the Incantation projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. And for the second page of shaders, we have, I'm not even going to try and say it. People tell me how to say it every time it comes up. The purpley one from Forsaken, which can look pretty good for 300 Bright Dust. There's also Vibrant Medusa available this week, which actually fits the festival theme a little bit. And then we have Reanimated Verve. This one is returning from previous years. And finally, Archeoskin, if that's how you say it, is up right here. I'm not sure if that's new or not, but those are 300 Bright Dust. And finally, we have the Arachnophile, Only the Finest, and the Umbral Harbinger available from the store this week. So give us your impressions on what we've got in the Eververse store down in the comments section. We'll finish with a very quick hello to Shader 1, who still gets a bit of decoration down here for Festival this week. Of course, if you need any of these armor pieces, even for the cosmetic component, you can go and grab them. For shaders, though, we have Dark Omolon available this week, which can be quite a nice looking shader, depending on armor, for 10,000 Glimmer. There's also New Pacific Rush, which is the Worn variant. And finally, we've got War Cult Scheme, if you are after any older faction shaders. For today though, guys, that is everything we have to round up. So give me your impressions on Festival of the Lost down in the comments section. If you've enjoyed the video or found it useful, a rating really does help us out as well. But other than that, I'll be keeping you posted with Bungie updates and news. So again, hit subscribe and turn on notifications by hitting the bell icon down below. And that way I can keep you up to date. But otherwise, cheers for tuning in. And I hope you guys have a, well, spooky day, I guess.